Birdman.
Hey, I know you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kenny B here with his
Yeah,
co-host, the Birdman, Robert Bird, and this is the official call. The official call.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been a
Well,
great. You know what?
what's that?
We had a great interview with Mark Ratner over the
Yes, we did.
weekend, and he really shed a lot of light on the history of the commission here in Nevada, and
Yes.
it was just nice to have him. And by the way, I reached out to his counterpart in New Jersey, Mr. Hazard, and I want you to know that in the future we're going to have Larry Hazard as a guest on the show too. So hey,
Yeah.
we're moving along.
We're moving along, and that'll be great. It'll be good to speak to Mr. Hazard because back in the day when I was contemplating being a referee, it was Larry Hazard and Rudy Battle
Yeah, yeah.
and a few other referees that I watched very close to develop and polish my skills. Once I got in, Arthur McCanty is another one that I polished my skills prior to getting into the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep, yep,
yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah.
But yeah, we got a very interesting show today because we're going to be discussing the whole issue of um, uh, UFC Dana White becoming a part of boxing, and we've kind of touched on the subject in other shows. And the key thing, and I'm sure you agree with me, Birdman, is that whatever's good for the sport is the bottom line. And we're going to be touching base on a few things. I'm going to be learning a few things as to how this whole process work with the California Commission and the whole voting
Mm-hmm.
and how all that worked because I'm just as green as the next guy when it comes to it. I mean, I've done a little research and did a little reading up on it, but you might have to hand walk me through the the, the political side of what
Yeah.
all this means. And we were talking earlier, Bird, and we were talking about the history of boxing as to the different sanctioning bodies. And as we know today, there are four sanctioning bodies: the
Mhm.
WBC, the WBO, the WBA, and the IBF. And
Mhm.
I, I remember when the IBF came into recognition, and you very eloquently explained how Larry Holmes was a part of that because he fought for a title where he got the IBF title, and I think you said Marvin Hagler,
Yeah, yeah.
and so that's basically how the IBF got started, and then after the IBF was the WBO,
Right.
which we know all the people that are involved in all the organizations, and they may do things a little differently, but the common denominator is about the fighters, about their safety,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it makes it meaningful for us because as officials, uh, we get in the ring and do our job, and for me, that's the way it has been for many years. The political side of what takes place, who fights who, how much money they're making, etc., has no meaning to me at all because
Right, right,
my job is to do what I do in the ring.
right, right. And the thing about it is that uh, we know that boxing has a dark history.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on in boxing, And because of those things, uh, that is why the Muhammad Ali Act was initially done, basically to protect the fighters. Uh,
Yes.
Fighters were being exploited. Managers and promoters were in bed together, and we know about some of that. You know,
Yes.
uh, we're on the periphery of it, but we know some of the stuff that was going on. Okay, and that is why the Muhammad Ali Act came into being. And actually, that was an offshoot of the Boxing Safety Act, which was
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
came up in 1996 to talk about, how can we better protect these guys who are going in there risking their life and limb every time. And then the Muhammad Ali Act was simply an extension of the Boxing Safety Act. Uh,
Yes.
and that dealt more with, you know, how they get paid, uh,
Yes.
any benefits, retirement, and stuff like that. Uh,
Yes.
so the Muhammad Ali Act was welcomed by the boxing community. Uh, it was challenged, of course, by some of the managers and promoters. But bottom line, overall, the Muhammad Ali Act was received mostly positively.
Yes.
But like anything, change is difficult. And so
Yes.
now, with the advent of this uh, development of the TKO group with Turkey and the WWE and Dana White coming up with the TKO or the UBO. This is what they want to
Yeah.
form their own organization with their
Yes.
own champions and uh, and they don't want to be aligned with the other sanctioning bodies. And so you and I know that there's going to be some fighting done because
Yeah.
it's difficult to change old habits, and the old habits are
Yes.
the sanctioning bodies, and the
Yes.
new habit is TKO and the just UBO idea. So
Yes.
it's going. You and I have talked about this on the podcast many times. Uh, it's in a state of flux.
Yeah.
Boxing is going. There's going to be tremendous changes in the sport over the course of the next 18 months, 2 years,
Yeah.
and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. And like I said earlier, the only thing that we can hope is that everything moves in a more of a positive way. Yeah, there's going to be disagreements.
Yeah.
The WBC don't agree with everything that the WBA does, and the WBA doesn't agree to everything that the WBO
Hmm.
do, and the WBO don't agree to everything that the IBF. So you got this circle going on. But when it's all said and done, when you see a unification
Hmm.
of fighters that's with the WBC, that's the champ, fighting the WBO champ, there's a unification there. There has to be a meeting of the minds where it's worked out
Hmm.
so that if because you do want the best to fight the best,
Hmm.
and when that unification happens, that's what you get.
Hmm. Yeah.
A perfect example is Terrence Crawford. I mean, he's got three unification title fights now. It started with the when he was
140.
lightweight,
Yeah.
and
140.
then and then welterweight,
Hmm. Yeah.
and now just recently at 168
Hmm.
when he beat Canelo. So there has to be the meeting of the minds to get together and make these things happen. and personally, and I remember back in the day, Bird, when sports writers used to write articles and say, "Why isn't there just one champ?
Yeah. Yeah.
What all these different organizations and you got multiple champs? Why can't we just get one champ?" Which is understandable,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then on the same end, uh, 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 anybody that and there are smaller organizations out there like the IBO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not recognized like the top four, and I already mentioned who the top four is. But you got the WBU. My first international fight to Bangkok, Thailand, was with the IBU.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're still not recognized like the top four, but
Mm-hmm.
but they're still out there. I mean, they still got world champions too.
Yeah. And I definitely remember when we talk about the big four, and then the one that sits just outside that is the IBO. And
Yes,
I recognize them because they were very active in South Africa and in
yes,
Australia. Uh,
yes,
they very active. I did a number of their title fights in South Africa, in England, and
yes,
in Australia. So uh, it's on the one hand, you have all of these opportunities for fighters to fight
yes,
for different titles and all that. And so
yes,
basically giving them an opportunity to fight for a title or championship. Uh, no, it's not the major one to us, but to the fighter
yeah,
winning the championship, he doesn't care if it's the IBO.
yeah,
It's a world championship. And
yeah,
so from that aspect of it, it's a good thing. But
yes,
the problem with boxing has always been how it's managed, you know. Uh,
yes,
and we know that there's a lot of stuff that goes on between promoters and managers and the sanctioning bodies.
yes,
We know that those things happen. We
yes,
know that they have a meeting,
yes,
decide what the rankings are going to be. And we
yes,
know that some of those rankings uh, depended on uh, what this organization over here could offer and
yes,
did offer. So
yes,
there was some clandestine stuff going on, and hopefully, at least that's on the face of it what the TKO, the UBO, that's what they're saying. They're not going to be guilty of.
right. And explain to me because I may have it wrong. Is the new organization with TKO saying that once they start uh, uh, once they start their organization, that they're going to be exclusive from the other major four organizations? Is that what they're saying?
That's my understanding of it.
Okay.
And we talked about this on the podcast. They have some ideas that are not totally welcomed by the boxing community out there. They want to go back to 8 champions, which is how it originally started when it was just the NBA. You
Right.
know, uh,
Right.
they want to go back to that. There's only one champion, and I don't think, and most of the people we talked to didn't think that that was the smartest thing to do, given the
Yeah.
body frames and types of fight. That's why the junior titles came into effect, because you got some people that are at 140 pounds, and best they're going to ever be is
Yeah.
146 pounds.
Right.
So those middle weights came into effect, and it made sense. That made sense. But from what I understand, and I may be wrong, what the TKO wants to do is go back to having one single champion in each of the 8 categories,
Yeah.
and which has not been well thought of by a lot of fighters out there, Roy Jones and Shane Mosley Jr. and most of the fighters that we talk to, they don't agree with that concept. But that's what TKO wants to do. Uh, they and they want the best to fight the best. Now
Right.
score, on that score, I think they've hit it because I think that's what people want. People want to see competitive fights. They want to see the best fighting the best, and
Right.
that's what the promise of TKO is.
Yeah.
Now, what's being promised and what's going to be initially delivered could be totally two different things.
Yes, because when it's all said and done, the A side and the B side, and I'm talking about the fighters now, have to come to that agreement.
Yes. Yeah.
And like you said earlier with the rankings, the reason why they have rankings is so that you know that uh, the champ has to either, or the sanctioning body of the champ has to either pick the number one ranked. If number one rank is not available, then you go to the number two, and so on down the list to keep it fair and to give the guy that's rightfully so next in line his opportunity to fight for the belt.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Ultimately, Kenny, what this all boils down to is giving, really, for me, making the boxing game more in line with other professional sports,
yeah,
and basketball and football. You know, uh, they have uh, uh, great medical assistance to fighters. They have
yes,
retirement programs for the fighters. Uh, they have just settled a big lawsuit about concussions and everything, and because of that, now you see medical tents right out there on the field. A person gets hurt and they go into the medical tent.
right,
Uh, so I'm saying what I think they're trying to do is make boxing similar to the other professional sports, but they fail
yeah,
miserably in that effort.
yeah,
They've failed. Boxing has failed miserably in that effort. Yes,
yeah.
it's a little bit better now in terms of medical. It's a little bit better now in terms of them having to take neurological tests,
Neurology, yes,
drug tests. Uh,
yes,
it's a little bit better now than it has been, but it's not in no way similar to the
right,
protections and the positives that are offered to other professional athletes.
yeah, yeah. Callers, you can call in now. The number and link to join us is in the description. Uh, um, uh, Bird, I want to touch on this meeting that took place in California with the California State Athletic Commission. And
Uh-huh.
the thing that I want to address first, and I don't want to sound like I'm biased or anything, but the meeting took place in California
Mm-hmm.
with the California Commission. I guess my question would be, why didn't the meeting take place in Atlantic City or Nevada or Florida or with any of the other boxing
Yeah.
for an example? Why did it take place in California? And I'm not against California. I'm just saying, to me, uh, uh, I think that if there had been a neutral site, Zoom call maybe, where you got California, Nevada, Arizona, whoever boxing commissions that were a part
Yeah.
of this meeting, where voting is taking place, and people are sharing their views as to how it happened here. Apparently, there were 30 people that spoke.
Yeah.
Some were not, and make it, across the coast of California.
Well, there is an organization out there that's called the Association of Boxing Commissions. Okay.
Yes,
And so,
yes,
to your point, maybe that's the organization that should have been polled regarding this, because that
yes,
organization is supposedly
yes,
the arm of all of the commissions around the country. Okay, they're
exactly.
the conglomerate of all of these commissions, and I would think that on this subject that's going to touch all of these commissions, all of these states, and
Yes,
not only the Association of Boxing Commission, but the BBC and the other commissions around the world. Why didn't they have a joint summit? Okay, and have everybody come and talk about what it is they want to do. Because, see, the thing about it is boxing is global. Boxing is global. We have
yes,
boxing from all over the world. You know,
all over
uh,
the world.
it's global, but the rules, just like we developed. We had all these organizations come together and develop the uniform championship rules. But that was done by bringing
Right.
all of these groups together. They sat down, they hammered it out, and said, "Now, anywhere in the world there's a
Yes,
championship fight. These are the rules." Well,
yes,
to me, that's a template and a model for what it is you want to do.
exactly. And
You
not
should
only,
say Muhammad Ali Act.
and not only that, Bird, you brought up a good point as far as this is a global sport. Um, a representative or the president of the four sanctioning bodies, did they get an invitation to be at this particular meeting? I mean, I would think that they might would like to share a few words and express their opinions, uh, and not and don't stop there. Like you mentioned earlier, the IBO, the WBU, give an invitation to all the particulars that are involved in the sport, so that you can hear uh, uh, opinions from across the globe.
Yeah. Well, Kenny, there's something out there that can't be ignored about this particular subject. Okay. And the first of those is that Lani Ali, the wife of Muhammad Ali, according to sources, has agreed that
Yeah,
the revision to the Muhammad Ali Act is a good thing. That's
yeah,
huge. The
yeah,
second part that is going to me play a major part is that there's a relationship between Dana White and the President of the United States of America. Okay. And so this act at some point is going to go to the legislature. Okay.
right.
Well, the fact that Dana has a personal relationship with the President of the United States, and the President of the United States has a majority in both parties of the GOP, passage of this bill likely would be more easy than if those things didn't exist. So you have those things that are going to have to be dealt with. Those are realities that are going to have to be dealt with.
Yeah, and you're bringing up a very good point, because at this point, uh, uh, the politics has gotten so thick that you talking over my head, Birdman. I mean, I have to sit down and I'm gonna have to read this over and over and over just to keep it in there, because yeah, this is heavy politics. It is,
Well,
and
you know,
and that's
I've often said, Kenny, there's two realities in life. There's reality, and then there's political reality,
right,
and they're not the same. But
and they're not the same.
if you're going to navigate yourself through things, you're going to have to know which one is which,
Right.
and you're going to have to be very cognizant of each,
Yeah.
because if you don't, one of them will get you.
One of them will get you, and I want to quickly add callers. You can call in now. The number and the link to join us is in the description. Uh, 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 Bird, you've made some good points, and I, for the most part, uh, the statement that I made earlier in the start of the show in regards, if it's to better the sport, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Because we can, and we've talked about a pension plan for boxers.
Yes.
I mean, whatever is going to make our sport better. And if that may not have been mentioned so far, with these meetings that have taken place, but at some point I would like that to be mentioned, so that for these fighters, for these warriors that go in the ring and put their lives on the line, will get something more than just a paycheck, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I agree with you. The key questions for me is, will this revision to the Muhammad Ali Act, will it in truth change the sport for the better?
Right. That's the key.
Will it actually change the way, which it that's alleged what it's going to do, to change the sport for the better. But and more importantly, the way that fighters are paid and cared for.
Yes.
Paid and cared for. Okay?
Exactly.
That's some of the key things here. And the problem that I see with this is that when you go back to the UFC having been sued and having to come up with be subject to a $380 million antitrust lawsuit, because they were basically, according to sources out there, they were basically taking 80% of the profits, and the fighters were only getting 20%. And that is not the same as it is in any other sport. It's certainly not the way in football. It's certainly not the way in basketball, baseball. They can negotiate for themselves. I think that started in baseball. I can't forget the player's name, but he said, I'm my own commodity, and I should be able to market myself to the highest bidder. I should negotiate for myself, and that's essentially what I think I'm understanding is supposed to be happening. Okay, and so how much are you taking away from the fighter's ability to negotiate for themselves? And here's the key. There's a cut man. We had him on the show. Stitch
Duran
was with the UFC initially. Okay. And Stitch had a number of sponsors. Okay.
Right.
But because the UFC would not recognize those sponsors, he had to give up working for the UFC.
Right.
you have to.
Let's do this.
There's call on the line. If there's call on the line, come on down.
Come on down.
How y'all doing? It's Jopreme Magnetic calling again.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yes. A couple things. Accordingly, Dana White, not that I'm a UFC fan or anything like that. He was on Steve Kim and Mario Lopez's show when he was saying that he's not trying to change the Ali Act, and he's saying that he's just trying to do an extension to it for the TKO situation. And, it's up to the individuals to either go with the model that we know with the sanctioner bodies or bet on him. And the reason, being that y'all spoke about it earlier, and once again, my guys, they're in the Pee-wee division in the amateurs, 8, 9, and 10. So by the time, if TKO is still around when they are adults and they stay in the sport and the business of boxing, then they will actually have a choice between the sanctioning bodies as we know it now or TKO. And, and kind of switching the subject up on the same topic, when they say that when Dana White and says about TKO and the best fighting the best, we always want that on the highest level. And the thing is, if and when if TKO is not doing business with the sanctioning bodies, so their best can't fight the sanctioning bodies' best if they're not doing business with one another. That's just an observation I have.
Well, here's the reality. And I said there are two realities in life. Here's the reality. On the one hand, yeah, you have that fight. On the other hand, everything in life is about choice. Yeah. And essentially what Dana is saying, and I don't know that he's incorrect in saying this, is that, you have a choice. You can join us or you can go with those folks over there. Right. But we feel, i.e. the TKO, we feel we have a better product. So you can either buy our product or you can buy our product over here. So the choice is there. So that's what makes it difficult to me to figure out what it is you want to do.
Yeah. It's not difficult for me because I'm not a fighter. I'm a teacher. And I said, my guys are, I have 2 9-year-olds fighting this Saturday coming up. And, if they using imagination, when they're 19 and they still fighting, and they will have a choice whether to go with the sanctioned bodies or TKO. That's their choice. I still have to coach them in the corner and help them out to win their fights.
Oh, but the bottom line, my friend, is that you nor I know what's going to be happening 10 years from now. True. When they're 19 years old, we don't know. None of these organizations may exist in the manner that they exist today. So we don't know 10 years down the road. But here's the deal. We don't know yet how this thing is going to, number one, if it's going to be implemented, although I think it will be because of all the things that Kenny and I shared. Ms. Ali is in favor of it. There's on the political side, there's a lot of positives over there that can get this thing passed. That's the first thing that has to happen. It has to get passed. Okay. But once it does get passed, we've got to really watch this thing over the course of a year to 18 months or 2 years to see how it's actually working. And if someone has told us lies or if they told us the truth,
Right.
or is there a meeting ground where this thing can work moving forward? And we don't know that. We don't know that yet.
Yes, sir. Time will tell. And
Time?
how do you gentlemen feel? Pardon me, I'm not trying to take up all the time.
No,
How do
go
you
for
gentlemen
it.
feel like Teddy Atlas was speaking about a national commission to oversee the governing bodies? Do y'all have any thoughts pertaining to that?
Yeah, the process, the problem with that is, and that's not nothing new. Matter of fact, a part of the Muhammad Ali Act is based upon that venture. Okay. And Teddy Atlas, being Teddy Atlas, speaks on it because Teddy Atlas thought that he would be the national czar. The problem with that is boxing, as Kenny and I have shared, boxing is a global sport, a global sport. So who is going to run it?
Right.
Makes sense.
And if I can use this example, Carla, because you mentioned about you training 9-year-olds now and in the next 10 years. Hypothetically speaking, let's say a trainer is training a kid now at 9 years old, and by the time and he has guarded and brought this kid along all the way up to where he's now a pro. And let's say he's 8 or 10-0, and you know you're watching his career to the point to where you're picking certain fighters because you don't want to take him too fast or too slow, and you get to a point to where you may fight for a title. And do you want to fight for a title where when you sign that contract, it means that you're under the jurisdiction of that particular organization, as opposed to if you sign with, there really isn't anything that you sign because you'll just win a belt. But will the trainer still have control of wanting to know who his fighter fights? Or does the organization have control when they say, we want the best to fight the best? What if you're a trainer and you don't think your fighter is ready to fight the best, but yet the organization is saying, we want the best to fight the best, so you fight him? So what I'm saying is that as a trainer, you know best for your fighter because you brought him along all these years. And to have someone tell you at the top, okay, well, he's going to fight this guy next.
Right.
As a trainer, how does that make you feel?
Well, of course, I'm not there yet, Mr. Bayless. I have experienced that in the amateurs. One guy, I trained him, he had one fight, and a matchmaker was trying to put him on with somebody with 11 fights. I was not taking that fight. He's still a novice.
Right.
And, things got funky and blew up and everything like that. Me and the guy who gave the offer, we're good now. Initially, it wasn't that way. I'm not going to rush him and get him hurt because you want to fill up a card on your
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I don't want my guy to get hurt. I know he's good. I don't want him to get hurt. He's not ready for that yet. I would think that I would take that same mindset. Now, as a teacher, the coach and trainer and all, I'm not the manager. I'm not the promoter. So it becomes difficult on that level. With your question.
Right. Well, you're right. Even as officials, when I started out in the amateur program, I was only refereeing the novice fighters. That's all they assigned me to was novice. And over time, then they moved me up to the Junior Olympics because they felt that my skills had gotten to a point to where I could handle the Junior Olympics. And I stayed with the Junior Olympics for a while. And then when it got to the point to where they felt I was ready to make the next step. Then I went to the open division, where these kids then fought 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 times. They're very well skilled. You could see it as soon as the bell rings. And that was the process as to how it worked. And so when they turn pro, it works the same way. They start out with 4-round fights. They go from 4-round to 6-round fights. And eventually they work their way all the way up to 10-round fights. And
8,
then they're
10,
looking,
12.
8 and 10. And then they're looking for a possible a title fight. But as the coach, you're watching your fighter all the way through this process because you don't want him to start his first pro fight and fighting a guy that's 15-0.
Right.
You don't want that. You know what your fighter's capable of doing, but you don't want to put him in a situation like that soon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We want to remind all the callers out there, you can call in to the show right now and join in the conversation today. You can call us. The information is on the link in the description below.
Thank you for allowing me to call my third time, and I'll be looking forward to call again. I do have a question for you on the referee side. What is the most difficult ring have you ever experienced, like size-wise? 22, 16-foot rings. Did y'all have an issue with any of those in your careers?
I didn't.
I didn't either. And the bottom line for us is you got to be able to perform no matter what size the ring is.
Right.
I've been in 16-foot rings, mostly here in Nevada. They've been 20, 22-foot rings. But yeah, the bigger, the better, because it gives us more room to move around in. But we got to be prepared for whatever size ring it is.
Yeah. And just on the flip side of that, we go out and we work sparring at various gyms around the city. And so that exposes us to all kinds of rings. So that by the time we get to a major fight, we know that the ring is going to be 20 or 22 feet, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thank y'all gentlemen for allowing me to get on.
Thanks for calling. And don't stop calling. Keep calling.
I got it. All right,
yes,
brother.
sir. Peace. Yeah, peace. Again, callers, we're going to switch the topic just for a minute here. There was a fight between Danny Garcia and he fought a guy by the name of Daniel Gonzalez. And I just want to do a little bit of a shout out to Danny Garcia. This fight that he fought was supposed to be his retirement fight. And fighters often will do a retirement fight where they've decided that they're done with the sport, and for the sake of the fans to see them for this very last time, they pick a fight and they execute it in the ring for the glory of their legacy and all that they put into the sport. Now, Danny Garcia, I've refereed him before. Matter of fact, the fight that I did with Danny was when he fought Amir Khan. It was a hell of a fight. I had to end up stopping it. Danny dropped Amir Khan right before the bell. I think it was the 4th round. And then in the very next round, he dropped him a couple more times. And I just had to stop it. It goes back to what we've said us referees have to do. We can let them swim out into deep waters, but we can't let them drown out there. So I stopped it. And in this fight that Danny fought against Daniel Gonzalez, it was a competitive fight. Danny Garcia showed control throughout the whole fight. Danny Garcia is the kind of fighter that doesn't waste his punches. He'll miss here and there, but he's very accurate. And he ended up catching his opponent with a left hook and dropping him, and that ended the fight. So I say to Danny Garcia, a great career you've had. We thank you for your service in the sport, and we hope that you're where you choose to go as far as the decisions that you make. If it continues in the sport or not, we say good luck and God bless. Birdman.
Well, I agree. I agree. But Kenny, come on now. You and I know. You and I know
Yep.
that what you say today, you may not mean tomorrow.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, Danny, this was supposed to be his farewell fight.
Yes.
And we've heard that song. We've heard that song many times before. All right, we've heard that song.
Yes.
Okay? A lot of them, and they don't really wind up that way. Now,
Right.
here's the deal. Danny looked very strong, very good in this fight, and Dan's been off for a while prior to this fight. And you and I know that a lot of times when fighters decide they're going to do this, they're going to come back out of retirement, they just don't look like themselves. Sometimes they're just a shell of themselves.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case here with Danny. He looked really sharp. He took control of the fight, and you and I know what they normally do. And he left the door open because he said, and I quote, what are you going to do? And he said, it's a high chance that I might fight again. You know, he said, look, I'm healthy. My family, they're kind of in agreement with me. So who knows down the road? And so what that says to me is what a lot of these retired fighters often say. I'm retired, but I'm retired, but, and there's a big but here, you know. The key is that he looks like he is healthy and capable of being competitive. And if he's healthy and capable of being competitive, why not?
Why not? And you're right, Bert. That's the flip side of the coin. I mean, Danny is 37 wins, 4 losses in his career, a total of 21, well, now 22 knockouts. And you can't take that away. He earned every bit of that. And the possibility of wanting to come out of retirement, we've seen over and over again when they not nickels and dimes at you, the Benjamins, when they wave the Benjamins at you, it's real easy to say retired. I'm not retired. But anyway, we give him all the best, whatever he decides to do.
You know something, Kenny? Here's an interesting sidelight. What if Danny's been retired, he came back, he had this fight. What if he says, now, I want a title shot?
Right.
Would he be able to do that under the TKO umbrella? Probably not. Okay?
Good question.
Would he be able to do that under some of the sanctioning body?
Sanctioning body.
Now? Probably yes. Okay? Because we've seen it happen over and over and over again. Is that fair to the people who've been ranked and fought their way up to that ranking? You know.
And you're right. And you're right, because when you look back and what you just said, getting the opportunity to fight for a title again, the two biggest names that pops up in my mind is Big George Foreman. He retired.
Yeah.
He came back. He fought for a world title and won.
Mm-hmm.
And Bernard Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Bernard came back, or I don't know if his retirement was as extended as long as George's, but George had won a world title and had the record. I think he was 45, and then Bernard came back and went just a few months more in age and did it at 46, I believe. But like you said, he got the opportunity with the sanctioning bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if he'd have had that opportunity if.
Yeah, and we don't know that we don't know that kind of thing could or would happen under the TKO umbrella,
Yes.
where they want just 8 titles and all that.
Yes.
Are we gonna bring this guy out of retirement, let him fight for this title because he has a name, he has
Yes.
So all of these things, like I said, there's a lot going for. There's a lot that's going for the implementation of this Reform Muhammad Ali Act.
Right.
A lot out there that can help it become to fruition.
Yes.
There's a lot of concerns about it, but the question is, will these concerns outweigh all the stuff over here that can bring it to fruition?
Right.
And that we don't know.
That we don't know, and it would be nice to know, because when you got a new organization that's going to be a part of the mix, the key thing for the fans, for the public, is to have a little some type of education to the fans,
yes,
so that they know what's going on.
Yeah.
And as of now, we know that all this is on in a situation that can continue to be discussed and worked out. But as far as what it's going to actually be, we don't know yet.
Yeah, and the other
we don't know yet.
Yeah, the other thing is that there's a couple of commissions out there that it'll be interesting to see where they stand. New Jersey,
yes,
under the auspices of Larry Hazard, very knowledgeable,
yes,
very respected person in the game. Nevada,
yes,
wonderful commission here in Nevada.
Yes.
Where are they going? And so this thing it hasn't been fleshed out yet. So
that's my point.
There's a lot of questions out there. Yeah, you got Texas and Florida who do a number of fights, but major commissions like Nevada and New Jersey, and certainly California, because California, year after year after year, has probably more fights than any other state. So it's going to be interesting to see what position that New Jersey, the New Jerseys and the Nevadas and the Texas and the Florida, what their position is going to be on this issue. So it's an issue that's going to be alive for at least 2 more months, because TKO is going to begin their program January 26th.
Yeah.
So a lot is going to have to transpire between now and the end of the year before this happens. So we just hope that it'll be a clearer picture. The picture will clear up more and more and more as we move toward the end of the year.
Exactly. And speaking of all the different boxing commissions, which you've mentioned, it would be, and I think that if we can possibly get on our show, um, someone from one of the sanctioning bodies. I initially would like to get the president of the sanctioning bodies, Gustavo for the WBO, Mauricio Suleiman for the WBC, or just to hear their take on how they're receiving all that has happened at this point, and what their thoughts are on this whole thing with TKO.
Yeah, and hopefully we can do that.
Yeah,
hopefully they'll be receptive to it.
yeah,
Hopefully we can do that, and I think that everything in this world is about product. Okay,
yes,
a boxing match or a program or whatever, it's a product, and in a world of free market, people have a choice. They have a choice of what product they want to purchase or be a part of. And this is no different. This is no different.
That's right.
You can choose to watch a WBC fight, or you can choose not to watch it and watch a TKO fight. But the future of the sport has to continue to evolve, or it becomes stagnant.
Yes.
And the thing that the sanctioning bodies and a lot of folks out there, what they're going to have to come to grips with is there were 70,400 people at Allegiant Stadium to watch a fight that was co-promoted by Dana White,
Mr. Turkey.
Sheik.
Yes.
Tremendous fight.
Yes.
Tremendous fight. I don't know exactly what the paydays were, but I know they were significant.
Yes.
So, do I want to be a part of that over there? Or do I want to be a part of a fight over here where the fight lasted one round and got knocked out?
Right.
That I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because anybody who's ever watched a Mike Tyson fight, that
you had to get used to that.
But most people want to see a competitive fight.
Yeah.
Okay, that goes a few rounds,
Yeah.
So I think ultimately what's going to decide this issue, okay, is who puts a better product out there. Who puts a better product out there, because even if you've got a great product, if nobody buys it, who cares?
Right. And when it comes to sports, as far as product, it happens in every sport. The Raiders lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 31-0.
Yeah.
Now, that could be like a first or second round knockout in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and
you can pick every sport. During the playoffs, there in the NBA, there was a team that lost by 30 or 40 points.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Yeah.
So would that be in comparison to boxing and a first or second round knockout?
Yeah.
So, the product is there. The game didn't end up the way you hoped that it did.
Mm-hmm.
But
on a
it did.
On a consistent basis, the product has to be good.
Yes, on a consistent basis.
Yes. You're gonna have hiccups.
You're gonna have hiccups.
But now classic example, the Milwaukee Brewers had, I think, the best record in Major League Baseball. They got swept by the Dodgers.
Right.
Okay. They got swept by the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So this thing is far from resolved. It's
Yes.
going to take a while for it to get resolved. And
Yes, it is.
you and I, we don't have all of the information. We have some, but we don't have all the information. And we certainly don't have the conversations that go on behind closed doors. Okay. We don't know what's being resolved behind closed doors. We just don't have enough information right now to make an informed decision about it. And probably the only way that's going to happen is to get the buy-in of all of the people who have a vested interest in the game, all of the sanctioning bodies, all of the bodies from around the world, because this is going to affect fighters from around the world. Okay? So, and we don't know yet. We don't know yet. And you know, Kenny, speaking of Mr. Danny Garcia, I'm wondering what weight he might come back at. If he wanted to come back and have a couple of fights and move into the picture, the title contention picture. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. You know? Now, there's a something I read on this UFC boxing kind of thing. It's going to be, I guess, they're going to call it the UBO. And I understand that right now, in the UFC, there's like the fighters get like $12,000, and I'm talking about new fighters. They get like $12,000, and if as the fight goes on, they can get another $12,000. If you know. If they win the fight, and then they can get a $50,000 bonus if they're involved in the fight of the night. So potentially, a fighter starting out potentially could get up to $75,000 on a fight. Well, okay. Now, but under this new program. And again, like I said, I'm just trying to read what it is what they're trying to do. They're saying that the fighters are going to get something like X number of dollars per round. So, for example, a young fighter who does like a 6-round fight would wound up getting, let's say, $150 times 9. They're going to get $150 per round minimum. And so for a 9-round fight, they're going to get something like $900, okay, for the fight. Now, for a fighter who's just starting out, fighting 4-6 rounds, that might be okay. Okay, little payday. But when you start to factor in the fact that he has to pay his sparring partners, he had to pay for his sparring partners, he had to pay for if you have to travel, hotel, he had to buy food, all those things. So when you go through all that, maybe at the end of the day, you only wind up with $150. And so, is that good? Is that a good thing? I don't think so. For someone who's going in there risking their life and limb, I don't know. But that's one of the things that, if in fact we believe that TKO is going to adequately compensate fighters much better, then yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But we'll know more and more and more as time goes on, because we just don't have enough information right now to be intelligently talking about this new venture in boxing. But at any rate, we want to thank all of you folks out there today. I want to thank you for watching the official call live today. We go live every Monday, and we invite you to call in, share your comments, and have a conversation with us. We appreciate your call. We'll see you next time.